The phone at the National Bank Open headquarters didn't stop ringing. Karl Hale, the tournament director, had just made a routine announcement. Alex Eala will be playing her opening match on Wednesday night. Within minutes, the ticket office was flooded. Within 30 minutes, every single seat in the 10,077 capacity stadium was gone. Hale stared at his screen in disbelief. He had seen big names come through this tournament before. He had watched Serena Williams sell out matches, seen the world's best pack the stands. But this was different. This was a 21-year-old ranked number 20 in the world, a player from a country that had never produced a tennis star. And she had just done what only Serena Williams had accomplished in the last 2 decades. We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect, Hale admitted. The Filipino fan army had descended upon Toronto, and they weren't just showing up. They were taking over. Toronto, Canada, August 2026. The National Bank Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments on the WTA Tour, had seen its share of legendary moments. But nothing could have prepared organizers for what happened when Alex Eala's opening match was announced. Karl Hale, the tournament director, had been monitoring ticket sales closely. He knew Eala was popular. He had seen the crowds at the DC Open, heard the chants of Eala. That echoed through the stadium. But when he saw the numbers on a screen, he was stunned. The moment Eala's appearance was confirmed, tickets vanished. Within 30 minutes of the announcement, every seat on center court was sold. The capacity was 10,077. The demand was so overwhelming that organizers were forced to move her match from the grandstand, which held just 2,800 seats, to the much larger center court. Our grandstand court is 2,800 seats. We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets, Hale told the Tennis Channel. A sold-out Wednesday night this early in the tournament is really unheard of, Hale said in a news conference. We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect. The tennis world was left speechless. The Eala effect had officially arrived in Toronto, and it was more powerful than anyone could have predicted. And then came the revelation that truly stunned everyone. The tournament had to add a new food item to the menu just to accommodate Eala's fans. Hale said they added Filipino adobo chicken for fans during the event. It's the first time I've ever heard of a tournament, halfway through the tournament, add a food offering just because of a player. The Filipino community in Toronto is massive. According to the 2021 census, the population was listed at over 270,000. When Alex Eala's match was announced, they mobilized like never before. Jason Maglante, the senior director of ticket sales and services at Tennis Canada, who is himself of Filipino descent, had been watching the Eala phenomenon for months. He had seen firsthand how his community had embraced the young tennis star. Speaking to my family and friends in the community, people started asking me about her. Is she coming? Can I know a little bit more about her? Maglante recalled. And these are people who don't even follow tennis. The excitement was palpable. Filipino Canadians were not just buying tickets. They were organizing group gatherings, designing custom T-shirts with Alex Eala written on them along with the words Rise, Believe, Inspire. For Danilo Sani Baluyat, the executive director of Toronto's annual Taste of Manila event, the comparison was inevitable. She's being branded as the next Manny Pacquiao, Baluyat said. The tournament organizers understood the significance. They reached out to Toronto's Filipino community groups and the consulate to promote the event. The phones have been ringing for months, with fans desperate to know when she would play. The Filipino community for months now has been calling in, asking when does she play? Who does she play? What does she play? Hale said, my mother knows her uncle, sister's brother, cousin. They were so excited to have her. The roar from the rare early tournament sellout crowd of 10,000 plus following match point of Eala's went over Alicia Park's surely could be heard across York University's sprawling campus. Philippine flags dotted the stands. The chant of Eala, Eala, grew deafening. Diane Castillo, a traveling Filipino journalist and former tennis player, described it as a super wild Filipino crowd. The loudest I have ever heard. It felt like it was in the Philippines. Incredible. For those in the GTA's large Filipino community, Eala had been building for weeks. The scenes on center court, in the eyes of some longtime Canadian tennis watchers, rivaled some of the most electric moments in recent tournament history, such as Denis Shapovalov's stunner over Rafael Nadal in 2017. The one difference? Those achievements all feature Canadians. Wednesday was a showcase for the multiculturalism of Toronto, with the community showing up in big numbers to support potentially the biggest Filipino sports star since Pacquiao. It's the kind of noise that accompanies a Grand Slam win, and this is just the second round here in Toronto. Play-by-play man Mark Pecci said on the WTA Tour World Television feed after Eala's win. Inside the stadium, at least a dozen large Filipino flags were draped over railings and boxes and the upper deck. Fans arrived hours early. Some wore customized Alex Eala shirts. Families attended their first-ever professional tennis match just to see her. One supporter even showed up wearing a dinosaur costume wrapped in the Philippine flag. However, the energetic Toronto crowd also sparked some contrasting reactions online. Some viewers criticized fans for shouting during points, arguing that the noise went against traditional tennis etiquette and could distract the players. One commenter said it was disappointing that people are shouting between points, before adding, "But man, what a crowd." Others pushed back against the criticism, arguing that tennis should welcome the enthusiasm of new audiences. One person called the atmosphere the new normal and said the sport needs to evolve as more communities become invested in it. The debate highlighted what Eala's success could mean for the sport. Many of the fans coming to watch her may be attending professional tennis for the first time, bringing the celebratory energy commonly seen at Filipino basketball, volleyball, and boxing events. Rosemary Ami Seaborn, who works with Baliad on the Taste of Manila, captured the community's pride perfectly. The one thing about Alex that everybody's proud about is that she acknowledges being Filipino in every event. She will correct your question and say, "I think what you should ask me is if I'm proud of being Filipino and being here." She has embraced it. The fans were amazing and helped bring some life to sometimes stodgy tennis. Like the fans in the iconic Adam Sandler Happy Gilmore movie, they didn't follow the traditional Marquis of Queensberry rules and treated Eala's time on the court like part Pacquiao title fight and part rock concert. And Eala not only fed off it, but seemed to bask in it and soak in the energy of it. The Eala effect had become a global phenomenon. It had started in Miami, where the crowds had swelled with Filipino fans eager to watch their new hero. It had grown in Australia, where thousands had been turned away from her matches. It had exploded at Wimbledon, where she had defeated the defending champion. And now, in Toronto, it had reached a fever pitch. Karl Hale admitted that the response was unprecedented. All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it, he said. American Tennis star-turned-podcaster Andy Roddick had called it Eelamania. Eelamania is fun. When you have watch parties in arenas around your country for a fourth-round match, I'm in, he said. The phenomenon was a testament to Eala's impact on the sport. She had not only broken barriers for Philippine tennis, but she had also shown that the sport could grow beyond its traditional markets. Her fans were not just passive spectators. They were active participants, traveling across the globe to support her, filling stadiums, and creating an atmosphere that was unlike anything the sport had ever seen. Eala had become more than a tennis player. She was a symbol of hope, resilience, and national pride. "The pleasure of my life to experience crowds like this," Eala said in her news conference after the win. She addressed the crowd in Tagalog, pumping her arms and asking for louder cheers. "There are so many Filipinos in the crowd tonight. So many flags. Thank you," she said. "I'm eternally grateful. I just came off Washington, so I really feel like this is a celebration." Katie McNally, who had just stunned the tennis world by defeating reigning Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova, was preparing to face Eala in the third round. She had been warned about the crowd, but even she was surprised by the scale of the phenomenon. "What she's doing for tennis is unreal and selling out stadiums," McNally said. "Hopefully it's a great crowd and a good atmosphere, and I can enjoy it." The American acknowledged that she would be playing against not just Eala, but also a stadium full of passionate fans. She described the assignment as a win-win, viewing the atmosphere as an experience that could sharpen her mental game. Hale revealed that the demand for tickets had been building for months. The Filipino community for months now has been calling and asking, when does she play? Who does she play? Where does she play? He said with a laugh. When they announced her start time, the phones rang, tickets sold, and boom, it was sold out on Wednesday night, just like that. Even Eala herself was overwhelmed by the support. I've been told that it's going to be a full house tomorrow, so I'm really very excited to see and experience the atmosphere. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up and they're enjoying tennis. She said from the streets of Quezon City to the packed stand of Toronto, Alex Eala has proven that champions aren't just defined by their titles. They're defined by the communities they inspire. The Filipino fan army has taken over the tennis world, shattering attendance records and leaving WTA organizers stunned. They didn't just buy tickets. They turned Sobeys Stadium into Little Manila. There's no stopping them now. Eala mania is real, and it is only just beginning.